Hi again, everyone. It is Mrs. Freege. We are going to be working on lesson 8.5 today, writing and solving equations to find supplementary angles. Today's learning target is I can write and solve equations to find unknown supplementary angles. So today's work is going to be very, very similar to the work that we did yesterday, only today we're going to be dealing with supplementary angles. Before we dig in, let's just recall for a minute the work that we have done with supplementary angles and the fact that supplementary angles are two angles that add up to 180 degrees. So a supplementary angle is basically or essentially a straight line, right? Two angles that form a straight line and a straight line that has 180 degrees. When we're writing our equation, we're still using addition. We're listing our two angles. When we add them together, we have a total of 180. So that's how we would show that as in a numerical equation. Okay, so let's take a look at the work that we're going to be doing today. So here you can see that we have two angles that are they're supplements to one another. And it says write and solve an equation to find the value of x, then find the value of the unknown angle. Okay, so like I said, today's work is very similar to what we did yesterday. It's just dealing with a different angle relationship. So the only thing that's really going to look different in our equation is the total or the sum, right? Because today they're going to add up to 180 degrees instead of 90. And we have two angles over here. We have an angle that measures 3x, and we have an angle that measures 150 degrees. And when we add those together, we know that they're going to come out to be 180. Yesterday, we reviewed how to solve two-step equations, so I hope that you remember that work from yesterday. And so the first step is to draw a line to keep each side of our equation straight and make sure that we keep each side balanced. So our goal is to get x by itself. Right now it's being multiplied by 3 and then added to 150. So we're going to get rid of this 150 by doing the inverse. So I'm going to subtract 150 from this side, subtract 150 from this side. My inverses cancel, and I'm left over here with 3x. And when I subtract 180 minus 150, I am left with a difference of 30. Okay, so I still don't have x alone. Right now, x is being multiplied. Even though there's no symbol here, we know that this means multiplication. Multiplied by 3. So the inverse of multiplying by 3 is to divide by 3, and we have to do that to both sides to keep the equation balanced. 3 divided by 3 is 1, so those cancel. And 30 divided by 3 leaves us with 10, so x is equal to 10. Now, if you recall from yesterday, there's one last step here, and that is to take our x value and substitute it into this expression to find the measure of this angle, right? So this angle measures 3 times x. So if we substitute in 10 for x here, we get 3 times 10, which is going to give us an angle measurement of 30 degrees. Okay, so the measure of that unknown angle is 30 degrees. Let's take a look at one and try it together. Same directions, write and solve an equation to find the value of x, then find the value of the unknown angle. Okay, so here we have a decimal, but the process is going to be exactly the same. So what I want you to do right now is decide what would be the equation that we would write here to show the relationship between these two angles. Go ahead and write that now. All right, so you should have had 112 plus 2.5x is equal to 180. And you also could have written 2.5x plus 112 is equal to 180 because that commutative property allows us to add in any order. Now we need to solve this equation. So let's drop our line. Now, because this is in a little bit of a different order, I still need to deal with this constant value over here. I'm not going to touch the x yet. So if I have a positive, right, it doesn't have a sign there, but we know that's positive 112. All right, so we're going to subtract 112 from both sides to balance our equation. Inverse cancel. we're left on this side with 2.5x is equal to, grab your calculator, 180 minus 112 is going to leave us with 68. Our final step here to solve is going to be to get rid of the 2.5. And since this is 2.5 times x, we need to do the inverse, which is to divide 2.5 on both sides. If you, over here, let's see, these cancel. We're left with x. 68 divided by 2.5 is going to leave us with 27 point. Oops, wow, geez. Sorry about that. 27.2, okay? Go ahead and find the measure of this missing angle using your x value. Okay, so you should have taken 2.5 times x and substituted in our new value, which was 27.2. And when you do that, you should get a measurement of 68 degrees. Okay. All right, here is our last example. I'm going to have you try this one from beginning to end. So the first thing I want you to do is write an equation that would represent this angle relationship that we could use to find the value of x. So your equation should have looked something like this. 85, which is our first angle. My stylus is starting to not cooperate with me. Plus 5x is going to be equal to 180 degrees. Go ahead and solve that equation. Find your value for x. So you should have subtracted 85 from both sides. These cancel, left with 5x here. You grabbed your calculator. 180 minus 85 leaves you with 95. Then our last step was to divide by 5. 5's cancel. X is equal to 19. Go ahead and find the measure of this missing angle using your new x value. Okay, so you should have substituted in 19 for x. 5 times 19 is going to give you a total of 95 degrees. Okay, so you can see that this work was kind of similar to the work that we did yesterday. A couple of different things, though, to keep in mind. Today we were working with supplementary angles. So supplementary angles, they sum or add up to 180 degrees, so that changes your equation just a little bit. To be able to find unknown angles using these equations, the first thing we need to do is write an equation that shows the relationship between the angles. The second thing we need to do is solve that equation to find the value of x. And then once we have what x is equal to, the last step is to substitute that value in for x to find the missing angle. Thank you for participating in today's lesson. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and be sure to let us know if you have any questions. Take care.